Hello and welcome. This video is going to be a what's sold video for the various platforms that I sell on for the end of July. So that's July 22nd until July 31st. As per usual, I'm going to start with my lowest performing platform first and then work my way up to eBay because eBay is my main bay. There will also be a slight announcement at the end of the video. It's not a big deal if you don't want to watch this marathon of a what's sold video because sales have picked up. So this might be a little bit of a thick boy. So I'm gonna scoot over here, and the lowest performing platform with one sale for this time period is Facebook Marketplace. I sold this Peter Millar Summer Comfort polo. Had embroidery on it from a golf course local and still sold for over $20 on Facebook Marketplace. I paid $4.50 for this. It took a while to sell. I actually initially picked this up for resale when I did the collab in March with Amber and Lotta Josh and Matt. So took a little while to sell, but once I cross-posted it, it did sell. After I cross-posted to Facebook, it took like 2 weeks to sell. So maybe it just wasn't on the right platform initially. I know, baby. Okay, let's go over here. Miss Moxie's probably gonna join me now since she's, yep, hello. So the next platform is going to be Etsy, and this is a bundle. I sold another bundle on Etsy because Etsy prefers their sellers to offer free shipping for purchases over $35, and I have my Etsy set up that way. So that way, hopefully I get sales there because Etsy definitely likes to bury sellers that don't do that. So I sold this bundle, and I actually had everything this time. The CC Outlawed shirt from the 90s, which was just like a crushed velvet, and that's still super popular. This Tabby Cat mug, which I literally have had since I started reselling. So this is like this is a mug that I've had for 3 years and like a few months. So that was exciting to see that go for $5. And then a bandana that I paid like a quarter for at an estate sale. Very happy with this. So even paying for shipping, I still made like $20 from this, which was great. I'm very, very happy. And then again, I moved some older pieces out of my house, which is awesome. And now we're gonna go to Poshmark. Sorry, baby girl, we gotta go. Meow. And I sold this vintage Peter Pan color pink top, super cute. I paid less than $1 for this, and I sold it for $16 on an offer on Poshmark. This did take a while to sell, but most vintage takes a little while to sell, unless it's like the most on-trend thing ever. And then I sold this Callaway Golf Polo. This is something I picked up from the Air Force retiree's house. So what, 2 years later, I'm still making money off of that, and I paid less than $1 for this, and this also sold on offer for $15. So excellent. I forgot to charge my battery. My battery just died, so we're back, and we're gonna go to eBay now. So at least it had good timing. This is a bundle sale that I gotta thank Puffles, lovely lady Donna, who has bought from me repeatedly and is almost always in the comment section. So thank you very much, Donna, for purchasing from me. She made this great bundle. So this flower dish from the 70s that I actually picked up at an antique store in Texas, paid $2 for it. And then the other 3 items are all recent Ben's pickups. So this was awesome. And I did refund her the difference for shipping. And I can't thank you enough for continuing to support me, Donna. And you know what, just Donnas are great. I have multiple Donnas in my life that are just awesome. So thank you very much, and I hope you loved everything. So this is the second time you guys are seeing this purse in a what's sold video, because the first time it was returned to me saying it was too small, despite the fact that I had all of the measurements in the listing. But those of us that resell know that no one ever actually reads the whole description, and so yeah. Said it was too small, they returned it. I paid $3 for this at the bins, and it sold again for $16, pretty much within 48 hours of me relisting it. So it has stuck this time, and I think it is now at its permanent forever home. Or at least I'm probably not gonna ever see it again. Who knows? This is another recent Ben's pickup. This is an LL Bean women's large plaid flannel. I was actually hoping I would get to wear this come fall, but You know, I like picking up LL Bean at the bins because it's inexpensive and it still has a really good following. And yeah, this sold very quickly after I listed it, again within a week of me posting it, and it sold for $11.90 and the buyer paid for shipping. A couple of things, another repeat buyer. I don't know if they watched my channel or not, or maybe they just saw that I had kind of like similar things, but both of these items came from a recent estate sale. This is a mid-century rooster salt box, just a thing that you would put on a wall, like a wall pocket, and you put salt in it. And then we have the carousel oil and vinegar shaker set that had 2 peppers in it, missing the little Lazy Susan that would have come with it. And then, you know, it might have been a marriage of stuff, but someone bought them both, paid $22 in total, and then an additional amount for shipping. It did cost quite a bit to ship this because I had to make sure the box was big enough, and there's lots of little small pieces, so I had to individually wrap them, but it did make it, and I am really happy that both of those actually moved so quickly. I thought I was gonna have them for a while. So really great sale. Very happy to save some stuff from getting smashed in trash. This is another bins pickup. I sold it for $11.25. I was surprised to find Free People at the bins in my area, and it was a great size. I also almost never find any Free People above a size small, so this was awesome, and it sold very quickly. And as you can see, my mannequin is already getting some great use, and I'm really happy. I should have bought one sooner, but I was being stubborn and was like, no, I'll just model it. And then it's so much faster, and I think it does make a big difference in showing how something wears without me having to go through feeling good enough to do like quick changes all the time. This is another bundle where someone bought 2 of the exact same thing. So this is something that came in a bundle with 3 of the Primrose plates, except for the cups and saucers had no dishwasher wear. These are gorgeous. Somebody bought 2 of them, and I have a buy more, save more on any multi-quantity listing. So if they buy all of them, they'll save more money. So that is why it shows $8.88. It's because they bought 2 of them. So instead of each cup costing $9.87, they got like 15 or 20% off. I can't remember which one it is, but they were beautiful, and I already made my money back on those because I think I got all 3 plates and all 6 of the cups and saucers for like $6. So I just took that off on the plates when they sold. This is a Weldon Polo. I know Weldon from my friend Matt over at Thrift-A-Life and his manifesto. And I actually found 2 of these. I found this blue one and the red one that had already sold. And this one sold for $17.50. Weldon is more known as a pajama brand, but they do actually make regular clothes too. I love selling books a lot, and I really like selling vintage cookbooks, even if something is, in your opinion, going to be super niche. Like this is a church cookbook from the 70s from Newport News. I live in Newport News, Virginia, and someone bought this for $11.87. I paid less than $1 for this book, and it did not sell to someone in Virginia. It went to another state, so this was great, and I highly recommend, if you can get them for cheap, to pick up vintage cookbooks, because you might be surprised to see how well they sell. This is a Footjoy Polo. Whenever I find Footjoy for less than $5, I pick it up because it all moves for me. I think I have 100% sell-through rate for Footjoy. Sorry, I'm having a bad POTS day, so my shoulders keep falling in and out of socket, and I'm not feeling so great. But I am very happy about this sale. It sold for $14, and I paid like less than $5 for this. This I got for free. I got to pick a hoarded house for free, and this is one of the items I picked up. Vintage magazines. I love selling ephemera, just like I love selling books. And this sold for $10.30. So this, you know, how 50, 54-year-old magazine sold for $10. And if it is a magazine, because it has advertisements in it, you cannot send it media mail. You have to send it either first class if it's light enough, or you have to send it priority, which is why this went on a padded flat rate. So still really happy about this sale. And I really like ephemera because it gives you like a snapshot into the time period. And some of the advertisements in this, yes, I say it both ways depending on how I feel. Some of them are just really, really cool to look at. So many alcohol ads. So many alcohol ads in this magazine. Another surprising bins pickup, this flax piece. I love picking up, buying and selling flax, and this sold for $23.90, and I paid less than $1 for it at the bins. So this was awesome. I do wish this had been in my size because I would have kept it. This was like just screams 100% me, but it was also 100% too big for me. First pair of shoes to sell from Carolyn and Ernie, their generous gift to me. This actually sold within 48 hours of me listing it, which was crazy to me. I honestly did not think this would be so popular, but they sold for $19.87 and the buyer paid for shipping. So you guys know I love selling vintage clothing, and when it comes to vintage clothing, it doesn't necessarily mean that the brand matters. And also a lot of like truly vintage clothing, there is no brand because it's homemade. So when I go to an estate sale and I see that there are a lot of vintage clothing, I use a lot of context clues about, you know, how old this person would be when they were at this stage of their life to try to date clothes. And I always feel bad when people message me on Instagram wanting me to help them date a piece of vintage clothing. And it's very hard to do that with just a couple of pictures, because when I'm dating things, it's normally like, because I can feel it, I can look at all the labels, I can tell the fabric content, because also a lot of times with vintage labels, if they do have a label on it, or sometimes have so much wash wear, you can't read it anymore. So for me, it's very much a tactile thing and seeing how it looks on a body to figure out its cut. So I have a hard time. I mean, I still love seeing all your beautiful vintage finds. If I have a hard time dating something for you, that's why. But I knew based on what else was in the house and how old the woman, the former lady of the house, was during this time period, could date this homemade piece to around the late 60s, early 70s. This had mushrooms all over it. I've talked about on this channel before how in vogue mushrooms are right now. And this sold, again, an extra small. This was small. It's like a 32-inch bust. An extra small homemade piece from like the late 60s and 70s sold for $47.90, and the buyer paid $4 for shipping. I knew that this would go for quite a bit of money, and I paid $5 for this at the estate sale. And it was beautiful. I wish that I could have worn it, but I'm a little bit actually too big for that in the chest, which surprised me when I tried it on. But yeah, so even if something doesn't have a label, if it's vintage, it can still be very valuable. Speaking of selling vintage, it's another estate sale find. I paid less than $1 for this piece, and it, again, another thing that I wish would fit me, but I am too big for it. It's from the 80s. It's an asymmetrical, it had like asymmetrical panels, and it was a denim wiggle skirt. Very cool. So this is another bundle sale from a fellow reseller here on YouTube, my lovely friend Melissa from the Thrifty Broad. I guess saw my reseller recap, and I've also had a couple conversations with her about how to increase my sales, because she's like one of the few people I would consider my direct peer, just because of the fact that she also has medical issues that she has to deal with, and is still able to manage her medical issues and also do reselling full time. So she decided to support me by buying a whole bunch of books from me, and almost all of these I got at the bins, and the one I did not get at the bins, which is the Mary Higgins Clark book, I actually got that at an estate sale for $1. So this was beautiful. And Melissa, thank you so much for buying these for me. And again, if you make any of the recipes in these books, please tag me, because I want to see what you make with them. And I will link her channel probably in a card up above, and then also down below as well. So Melissa, thank you. I adore you, and I'm glad you're my friend. So another bins find. This is J. Crew Factory. I still pick up J. Crew whenever I find it, if I can get it for cheap. This was a bins pickup. It was linen, so it weighed less than a pound. And I sold it for my full price of $14.87 within like a couple of days of me listing it. So my bins finds are selling, and they're selling quickly. And again, totally understand why you guys love it. It's awesome. If I can get them listed, they go. This is something that I listed due to when I was doing my dehoarding, which I will be doing that a lot the next month and a half. Hopefully it'll only take a month and a half. But this is something that was in my dining room, I believe, and I just had this mental block about listing this stuff, and 2 things from the set have already sold. These actually went all the way back to Ireland. So this is Brendan Aronstone and the Carly pattern. And these just went back to Ireland, which I thought was kind of hilarious. But someone paid to have these 2 plates shipped all the way back to Ireland. Sold for my full price of $12.87. That was awesome. These boots were purchased by a viewer of the channel, John. Thank you very much for purchasing these boots from me. I don't know who's wearing them, but they're gonna look stylish. If you're wearing them, John, please tag me. I want to see them. I want to see the outfit. But it's a total of $23.90, and this is something else that was gifted to me by Carolyn and Ernie. So Carolyn and Ernie, thank you again for the gift. And John, thank you very much for purchasing for me and the lovely message that you sent me. It was a really nice treat, so thank you. And I hope whoever owns these boots now loves them, because they were cool looking boots. So in my last video, I was showing the stuff from Carolyn and Ernie, all the clothing, and that this Banana Republic shirt I had put up on Whatnot and no one purchased it, which is great because it probably would have gone for $1 if someone did purchase it on Whatnot. But I sold it for $12.87 as soon as I listed it on eBay. So, I mean, yes, I'm still trying to make Whatnot work. Could I make so much more money listing all this stuff on eBay? Yeah, but like, anytime you're trying to build up a new social media or a platform, it's gonna take time. So I'm gonna give it a good go. I'm gonna keep going with it until maybe like the end of Q3. And if I'm not getting more results from it, I'm just gonna put more effort into other platforms, in the other platforms that I sell on. But yeah, sold for $12.87, and I'm so grateful. Again, it's another piece I got for free from Carolyn and Ernie, so awesome. I've been trying every time Courtney Common Tags puts out a chatty work with me to get some of this shoe death pile down, because that is definitely something I can just, all right, I'm gonna play her video. It's gonna be an hour long, and I have an hour to clean some shoes and get them listed, and it's worked great so far. So this was a pair of shoes that I listed from that, and I paid $6 for these, and they sold for $20. And I paid for shipping. They sold within less than a week of me listing them. The next 2 items are both from sold to different people, but they're both from the same brand, and I found both of them at the bins, and they sold within 48 hours of me listing them, which was a huge surprise to me because I'd never heard of this brand before. So the brand is called Natural Life, and it is a affordable boho brand. They do like a lot of log and look, comfy, oversized. Basically, if you think an art teacher would wear it, kind of the same vibes. Very comfy, a lot of natural fibers as well. And this sold for $19.87. It's a jumper, so it's got full legs, and was a large, extra large. And then this one, which was just a dress with patch pockets, not patch pockets, to have regular pockets, sold for $15.90. And again, both of these pieces sold within 48 hours. I found both of them at the bins, and the original retail price for these were actually around $60. So very surprising and very happy about it. Another bins pickup that sold quickly. This is a 1964 copy of the MetaGiven Modern Family Cookbook. I have sold MetaGiven cookbooks before. This one did not have its dust jacket on it, which is why it only sold for $9.87, but because I bought it at the bins, I paid 50 cents for it. Now this was a surprise. So I actually found 2 copies of this same book 2 weeks apart at the bins. So I found this one, which was in an amazing shape. This is the first copy I found. Paid 50 cents for it. It sold on offer for $15.90, and then I can now, since I sold this one, list the other one and take different pictures of it because it's not in good condition. It does have some condition issues, but this was a surprise. I did not expect it to sell so quickly, so less than a month, and I was honestly surprised when I checked comps and saw how much it sold for. So this was awesome. If I ever finish my literary sleeve here, The Great Gatsby is going to go right here. And this is a CD. I I love selling media just because it's quick and easy to list. I paid $1 for this at Goodwill, and it sold for $3.90 on an offer. This is from the huge vintage haul, where I talked about in my reseller recap that all of that huge vintage haul is now just going to be pure profit because I made all my money back on Whatnot last month. So this is 100% profit now. And this is 90s to 70s. Fashion is cyclical, so just like the 70s were in the last couple years during the pandemic, the 70s were in the 90s, and this is the 90s as the 70s. I put that in the title. I'm glad we both can read. So $11.90, awesome. Something that I knew was gonna sell very quickly, and I was also surprised to find at the bins, I paid 25 cents for this Harley Davidson owner's manual from 1995. And when I picked it up, I was surprised because everyone in the reselling space, or I would think most people in the reselling space, understand that owner's manuals and like car manuals of any kind can sell for decent money. So if you find them, pick them up. And I'm guessing nobody wanted this because the front cover was crunched, but the rest of the book was perfect. It was just the front cover got squished from being in the bin for so long. It sold immediately. Literally the same day I listed this for $19.87. Again, when I picked this up and I talked about it in the haul, this had over 400% sell-through rate. I knew it was going to go pretty fast, and because it was the only one listed, I got $20 for it. Another Air Force retiree piece, paid less than $1 for this, sold for $8. It's Izod, new with tags. Would not recommend picking up Izod, but because I got it for less than $1 and it was new with tags, happy to let it go for $8. Again, something that I finally got around to listing while I was listening to Courtney's Chatty Work With Me. I bought these because they were gorgeous. I also kind of hoped that they would fit me, but I am normally an 8.5, and these are a little bit too tight, an 8. And these are LK Bennett London, and they're so cute. They have little scalloped edge, laser cut detail, perfect everyday basic, but like with just an extra touch of pizzazz with the laser cut detail. I paid $6 for these, and they sold for $35, and the buyer paid for shipping. This is a cool weed shirt, as my friend Matt would say. Riot Society, their t-shirts normally sell retail for $25 to $30, depending on if they're doing collab or not. And so I knew I wasn't gonna get a lot for it, but I also knew that someone would want this shirt. So it sold for $7. I picked this up at the bins for $1, so happy to let it move on to a new home. This I have to thank Elizaveta for. She sent me a message asking if I would ship this to her friend. I told her if she wants it shipped not to her and to somebody else, she just has to change the address before buying the item and then remember to change it back, so that way it would go to the correct place, and that way I'm protected on eBay and she's also protected on eBay. But I've had this for a while, and it sold to her for $9.87. So Elizaveta, thank you very much. I also would like to thank you for the card that you sent me. It was lovely. That it made me tear up. The message was beautiful. And then she also sent me this gorgeous handkerchief that was her grandmother's, which is green and floral and gorgeous. And it's very sweet that you thought to give this to me, and I will definitely keep this and cherish it. So, and your card. I have a book that I put all the notes and cards I get from my time here on the internet in it, and it meant a lot that you did that. So thank you very much, Elizaveta, and thank you, and I hope your friend likes their new mug. I did gift wrap it because you did say it was a present, so hopefully they got it and they like it, because this was a beautiful mug. It had like an 18th century village scene all the way around it. It was gorgeous. So this is a pair of Piranha Leggings. They were slightly too small for me, or I would have kept them. And they sold for $16.89, and I paid $5 for these. And then I have mentioned here on my channel that I do stream on Twitch. There was an issue with some shipping, and I ended up with 2 copies of Horizon Forbidden West, and so I decided to just sell this one. The other one is happily in my PS5 at this point. So because I got this for free, $39.87, sold immediately as soon as I listed it. This I had to thank Nick for, because Nick asked me if I wanted to get this big bundle of vintage clothing, and I said yes please, I will happily accept free inventory. And this sold. I also have 2 of these, just like I had 2 of the Great Gatsby, and now that this one has sold, I can list the other one. This is the one that had the brown flowers on it. Nick, if you're watching this, just so you know. And it sold for $24.87. This did have a stain on it, and I had to get it out, but it got out. It came out quite well. These were actually made in Greece, and they were from the 70s, which you can see because reading is fundamental. Sorry. And the last thing I have to share with y'all is this tie. Ties I pay less than $2 or less for them, unless they're a couple of specific brands I will pay up for. But this Brooks Brothers tie sold for $12, and I paid $2 for this at a thrift store. So I sold ties, I sold mugs, didn't sell any pearl snaps this time, so maybe next time. I have listed a couple more pearl snaps recently, so we'll see what happens. But thank you guys for hanging out with me for this super long video. The announcement is that I will not be shopping. I will not be purchasing any more inventory at all until I have listed 1,000 items. And that at the end of every single one of these videos going forward, the last 20 seconds, I'll tell you where I am in my listing spree. That also means the de-hoarding videos are coming back. I say 1,000 items because I have that many. I have that many in my house that are not listed. I know that in my heart of hearts. So there will be no more hauls or showing videos unless someone in my life is awesome and gives me another bundle of free stuff. Like Carolyn and Ernie have, and then my aunt has done before as well. My mom has done before. So there will be no more hauls for a while. Hopefully you guys will still be okay with that. But I need to do this for my own mental health. And also, I spent all this money on all this inventory, and it's not actualizing any potential. I'm not making money from it unless it's listed, so, and then sold. So I'm just letting you all know that. No more hauls for a while, but I'm currently I've listed 10 of 1,000 items so far, so I am 1% there. Is that how math works? Yes, 1%. I'm 1% of the way there, only 99 more to go. But thank you guys for watching this super long video. Hopefully it was interesting to you. Sales have definitely picked up. The things that I talked to Melissa about, who I mentioned earlier in the video, are working. So I would highly recommend reaching out to her if you want some tips on how to be a better reseller. Or watch her videos, that works great too. So I will see you guys in a couple days for another video. Until then, bye!